Hi, this is James with Cold Air Inductions. Today we're going to be installing an Elite Series Cold Air Induction System on a 2016 Camaro SS. These are the tools you will need for this installation. Flathead Screwdriver, T20 Torx, Pliers, 3mm Allen wrench, a 2.5mm Allen wrench, a 10mm socket and ratchet.
Turn off the ignition and allow the engine bay to cool off. Open the battery access panel in the trunk on the passenger side. Disconnect the negative battery cable with the 10mm socket and ratchet. Use pliers to squeeze the hose clamp to remove the mechanical sound enhancer tube from the factory intake elbow. Use flathead screwdriver to remove the 90-degree elbow. Pinch the gray clips to remove the quick disconnect tube from the top of the PCV port. Loosen the clamp that holds the intake tube to the throttle body. Loosen the clamp that connects the intake tube to the factory airbox. Gently pull the intake tube away from the throttle body and airbox. Locate and unclip the sound enhancer tube and lay aside. Firmly lift the OEM airbox up and turn sideways to get access to the MAF sensor. Remove the two screws holding the MAF sensor in place using the T20 Torx Driver. Do not remove the wire harness from the MAF sensor. Doing so will cause the check engine light to come on. Gently pull the MAF sensor from its housing and set out of the way. Gently remove the existing airbox and intake tube. Reinstall any of the 3 OEM grommets that may have stayed attached to the factory airbox assembly. Prep the Cold Air Inductions Inc. airbox. Holding the airbox, slide the filter through the opening. With the new air filter installed in the airbox, line the mount up with the rubber isolator / grommets and push it down squarely and firmly. Make sure the intake box seats into all 3 of the rubber grommets. Use the 2.5mm Allen wrench to remove the MAF sensor screw from the intake MAF housing. Tip: place a microfiber towel under the tube while doing so to catch the screws in case you drop them. Locate the MAF sensor that was previously set aside. Install the sensor into the MAF sensor housing using the provided screws that were just removed from the MAF housing. Install the CAI MAF housing into the CAI air filter until the housing bottoms out on the filter's tube stop. Align the dot on MAF housing with the dot on the airbox. This is critical for optimal performance and drivability. Tighten the clamp on the air filter to the MAF housing. Locate the OEM supplied intake tube. Remove the PCV reservoir fitting and the 90-degree fitting using a screwdriver to pry open the brand clamps that secure the fitting to OEM intake duct. These clamps will be discarded. Install both the PCV reservoir and the 90-degree fitting into the CAI silicone intake elbow. Install the elbow onto the MAF housing, then the throttle body. Do not tighten at this time. Note: on some cars you may need to push the air conditioning line down approximately 1/4 inch to clear the new air intake tube. Do this gently to avoid putting a kink in the metal line. To achieve proper tube alignment, align the arrow on the MAF housing with the dimple on the filter and the dot on the airbox. When correctly installed, the MAF housing should be collinear with silicone elbow. Tighten the clamps on the air intake elbow, MAF housing, and throttle body. Use a set of pliers to reinstall the hose on the 90-degree fitting with the OEM clamp. Install the quick disconnect hose back to the PCV reservoir. Make sure both clamps are 1mm from the edge of the coupler. Tighten clamps by squeezing with a set of pliers. Install the airbox lid. Note: the front edge of the lid will slightly tuck under the OEM sight shield. Once aligned, use a 3mm Allen wrench to turn the 1/4 turn fasteners, just a 1/4 turn. Do not try to tighten more than a 1/4 turn, as this will damage the fasteners. Reattach the negative cable on the battery and reinstall the access panel. Now it's time for a test drive.
This concludes the installation. Please make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.